Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Market. Today is National Coffee Cake Day. Good Lord, I love coffee cake. It is almost embarrassing how much, literally 10 pounds that I have on me that stay with me forever and have stayed with me ever since I started putting on weight. Who am I kidding? I've always been a little chubby. But 10 pounds is due to my love of a good piece of coffee cake. Very delicious thing. Anyway, today I want to talk about a note out from JP Morgan predicting now a recession based on these tariff policies. Also, Carl Weinberg, another very astute market analyst, actually came out with quite a surprising note saying tariffs could see U.S. GDP take a 10% hit in the second quarter, which was also surprising. And Bruce Kasman coming out saying that he agrees. And the last tax increase we've had this large basically was 1968, which was followed by a recession. And, look, I was at dinner the other night with a friend of mine, and she said to me, she's diehard all the way, support Trump to the max and everything he does. And I said, look, just because you believe Jim Jones doesn't mean you have to drink the fruit punch. You don't have to believe everything all the time. You're allowed to disagree with some things. I agree with a lot of his policies, too. I don't have to agree with every one of them. I am an adult. I can make my own decisions. We're all big boys and girls. And, what I said to her was, look, I said I'd be more optimistic if we weren't ditching the same America First trading system that we created. We invented it. We put ourselves at the center of it. Basically, in my view, it got really broken down when these idiots in the government basically brought China into the World Trade Organization. Before that, it worked well for us. We were doing great. But then we bring in a communist country with state-planned enterprises, and basically they push and then they do mass exports of low-priced goods, which really blows up the trading system as we know it. Look, those old-timers, Truman, Harriman, George Marshall, they knew what time it was, okay? Those guys invented the original America First. Trust me when I tell you that. These guys were no patsies. But we had patsies running our government who thought we bring China in and they're going to be our little buddies. They're going to become democratic. You remember people used to say that? They're going to become democratic. China's going to become a democracy. My goodness, the arrogance of that kind of thinking, it's stunning to me. Not to understand, to trade low goods from China in exchange for the American worker. That's what they did. To think that China would be our little buddies, not understand their civilization, their century of humiliation, great power competition. The arrogance is stunning. And here we are paying for it. Anyway, the point of the matter is that there probably will be a recession big caveat, if things stay the way they are. But it's one of those things. If the tariffs work in getting other countries to lower their barriers, they'll be a success. The problem is we don't know if that's the original intent anymore, because now apparently they're saying that they want to keep them no matter what. But if the tariffs don't work in doing that and we stick with them, it's going to go down in history as the single biggest economic mistake in recorded history. Make no mistake about it. You don't need me to tell you that. You intuitively know that because you're awake. Anyway, the point that today I want to talk about the recession. And look, somebody said to me, yeah, you've been predicting a bear market for a few times. And I said, yeah, that's true. Look, you can't give me more credit than I deserve. Look, when we released Midnight in America, what we were basically saying and what we've been saying for months is the stock market's overvalued. It's just crazy. And it's .com boom. It's just kind of crazy euphoria. It's not based on return on investment. It's based on investment. We're not seeing returns yet. Markets overvalued. PEs are crazy. And gold is soaring. And last time these things happen, markets crash always. So we didn't know, though, which pin was going to pop the bubble. Here we are. It turns out it's Trump's tariff policy that's popping the bubble. Now, before the bubble popped, you had PE earnings were strong and price, you have PE expansion based on strong earnings. But in a recession, what happens is earnings have to get adjusted downward, which brings the whole thing down, which is what we're seeing happen in the market right now, basically. And that's why Friday, small cap stocks officially entered a bear market, the Russell 2000. But we don't need the Russell 2000 to tell us what we already know, because you just look through our portfolio and pick out the companies that are small cap stocks, especially in biotech, and it's like, we already know they've been in a bear market. It's like, well, what can you say here? But here's the good news. The good news is certainly in the biotech we'll be fine. These are great companies, great science, et cetera, and they're just doing their thing. These are just men and women working around, saving the world, just doing their thing, going about their business. And that's really basically what we have to start doing. We have to start going about our business. The good news is the market is starting to give us wonderful little opportunities really to swing the bat. But what I'd like you to do is, if you haven't picked up Midnight in America, it tells you 4 steps you should do right now, as in right now in this market during times like this. Because again, bear market happens for whatever reason once every 4.8 years in my life. The good news is there's an established playbook for this. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And the best part is this playbook will actually reduce your anxiety, because it'll tell you what to look for. It'll help you understand what's in your control, what's not in your control, and 4 steps you should take right now. Again, that's my pitch. We've got to pay the bills. We've got to pay the people that post these videos and edit them and all that other stuff. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to tell you about some of the things I'd be looking for in stocks that look very attractive right now, that are starting to look well priced for the first time in a while. Anyway, that's all I have today. Have a wonderful Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow.